Where and how did democracy develop? Today we are going to discuss the evolution and origin of democracy. Our discussion is based on a book authored by Robert Dahl. The name of the book is On Democracy. Democracy has been discussed off and on for 2500 years. Democracy did not advance continuously from its invention. Democracy seems to have been invented more than once and in more than one places. The logic of equality pushes toward democratic participation. When human beings lived in small groups and survived by hunting, they would have developed a system in which a good many of the members participated in decision making. For many thousands of years, some form of primitive democracy may well have been the most natural political system. When human beings began to settle down for long stretches of time in fixed communities, primarily for agriculture and trade, forms of hierarchy and domination came to be more natural. Popular governments vanished among settled people for thousands of years, replaced by monarchies, despotisms, aristocracies, or oligarchies. Around 500 BCE, BCE means before Christ era. Around 500 BCE, primitive democracy was reinvented in a more advanced form. The most crucial developments occurred in Europe, 3 along the Mediterranean coast, in other words, in southern Europe, and other examples were in northern Europe. So let's first talk about the Mediterranean or the southern Europe. As you know, the Mediterranean is in south of Europe, and the adjoining areas, they include Greece, Italy. Rome is also in Italy. In classical Greece and Rome, systems of government providing for popular participation were first established on solid foundations, and these systems endured for centuries. Greece is taken as the most important seat of democracy in ancient times. Ancient Greece or classical Greece composed of several hundred independent cities. The sovereign states were city-states. The most famous was Athens. Athens' popular government lasted nearly 2 centuries. It was the Greeks who coined the term democracy. It consists of 2 Greek words, demos and kratos. Demos means the people and kratos means to rule. So democracy means rule of the people or rule by the people. Athens has an incomparable influence on political philosophy, and it is a prime example of citizen participation or participatory democracy. Rome. Romans chose to call their system a republic. Republic is a Latin word. It consists of res and publicus. These are 2 Latin words. Res means thing or affair. Publicus means public. Thus, a republic was the thing that belonged to people. The right to participate in governing the republic was at first restricted to the patricians or aristocrats. After much struggle, the plebes or plebeians also gained entry. Plebeians mean the common people. Republican practices perished with the dictatorship of Julius Caesar. Rome became an empire after his assassination in 44 BCE. With the fall of the Republic, popular rule entirely disappeared in southern Europe. Popular rule almost vanished from the face of the earth for nearly 1,000 years, except for the political systems of small scattered tribes. After having talked about Greece and Rome, now we turn to Italy. Popular rule began to reappear in many of the cities of northern Italy around 1100 CE. CE means Christ era. Participation at first was restricted to members of upper class families, nobles, large landowners, and the like. But in time, urban residents began to demand the right to participate. In many cities, people gained this right. For 2 centuries and more, these republics flourished in a number of Italian cities. A good many republics were centers of extraordinary prosperity and exquisite craftsmanship. Then arrived the Renaissance. The Renaissance was an incredible outburst of brilliant creativity. The city-state was doomed as a foundation for popular government by the emergence of the nation-state or country. Towns and cities became subordinate units of government. The city-state was obsolete. In 1787, James Madison made a distinction between democracy and republic. He defined pure democracy as a society consisting of a small number of citizens who assemble and administer the government in person. And he defined republic as a government in which the scheme of representation takes place. So, in James Madison's view, the democracy was direct rule and the republic was indirect rule, or the rule through representatives. This distinction had no basis in prior history. Neither in Rome nor in Venice was there a scheme of representation. The words democracy and republic did not designate differences in types of popular government. They reflected a difference between Greek and Latin languages.